I'm not the biggest fan of niching down, even for business owners, right? I always like to look at niche in terms of the people you serve versus like what you offer, all of that. Welcome to the Glow Up Revolution podcast, a podcast for overgivers, overachievers, and the strong ones in the room. We discuss everything from neuroscience-based burnout prevention to magic spells we can cast for upcoming job opportunities and everything in between. Welcome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Welcome back to the Glow Up Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Megan Winkler, and today we're diving into a little more nitty gritty in the leadership conversation with a focus on human design. So even if you are a complete newbie to human design, I promise this is going to be a very accessible and beginner friendly episode. And if you've been around the block a little bit, know a little bit about your human design, you may actually learn something about how it applies to leadership specifically. So basically what human design is a synthesis of ancient wisdom systems and modern science. So it's the chakra system, the I Ching system, and it's all kind of like put together with some natal chart info and all that. And basically it's a way to look at how you're designed to work, make decisions, lead, recover from big energy outputs, that sort of thing. So I have long been interested in and loved human design, and it is a part of my energy profile readings. And in the past year, I was actually certified as a human design coach. So I've been able to just really like deepen that knowledge and really bring it to my clients. And now I'm bringing it to you in this podcast episode. So I'm super excited about that. In the past couple of episodes, we've talked about kind of the masculine leadership hangover. And I just want to recap that is not necessarily about our culture only, right? It really is about leading against your energetic design, and your human design is part of that. So it's like when a projector, which is a particular human design type, is trying to grind like a manifesting generator who is the type of person who can come up with these brilliant ideas out of nowhere and has the energy to put them in place, that projector is going to burn out. Okay. If we have a reflector who rushes her decisions when she's actually designed to take a full lunar cycle to make these big decisions, she's going to lose herself, right? And it's not every decision, it's the big major ones, right? And with all of the societal pressure, and when we work against our design and our energy type, we can get really out of alignment with who we are. And this is just another reason why generic leadership advice doesn't stick. It's not necessarily because it's broken, and it's not necessarily because it doesn't work, because it does work for some people. But if it's not aligned with who you are and how you work, how you lead, how you recover, then it's just not going to work. If it doesn't work, it's not going to work. So real quick, we're going to run through the 5 energy types just as kind of a primer or a recap if you already understand some of the human design stuff. The first one is a generator, and I am a generator, and I am one of 35% of the population. So you might be a generator as well. Generators are designed to respond, and we have a sustainable, kind of consistent life force energy. As long as we are responding to what genuinely lights us up, right? Not something that is sparked through obligation. Okay. And a generator's leadership superpower is infectious momentum. So a generator, when they're doing work that they love, their energy pulls others forward. People want to be near them. And you always want to have generators on your team because they will help generate the energy and enthusiasm you need, right? Kind of like a power generator. Now, there, of course, is a shadow side to every superpower, right? And so for generators, it comes up when a generator says yes to a leadership or business path because it made sense logically, but did not align with what her gut, her sacral says, that is going to be very exhausting. So it is so easy, especially if we have people pleasing tendencies as a generator, to say yes, because it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That's really cool. But that hard work that feels empty is just a path to burnout for a generator. Okay. So if you are a generator, make sure that you're initiating out of your response to something, right? That it's like, oh, yes. And often generators will like make like an affirming sound, like ooh, or or lean forward, right? It's this body response. But if you're initiating out of that people pleasing space, it's going to burn you out. So your invitation is to make sure you're not doing that. Manifesting generators are about 33% of the population. Oftentimes they get lumped in with the generators because there's a lot of overlap there, which makes sense, right? So generators are designed to respond, right? Manifesting generators are designed to respond and move fast. So Manny Gens are our multi-passionate powerhouses. This is the kind of person who can skip steps, who can pivot without warning, and can do three things at once. And they do this in a way that is not scattered. It's actually super efficient for these individuals to work that way. So within the leadership space, a superpower that a manifesting generator has is speed and range. So manifesting generators can see the whole board. They can see the whole plan. They can move quickly. They can bring others in. They have a lot of that generator, kind of overflowing energy to bring people into it. But the shadow side of that is when a Manny Gen has been told to slow down or specialize or niche down or stop changing their mind, it can cause them to doubt their own brilliance. Okay. So that's when they will second guess pivots, finish things that are already dead, but just like to get them done and to feel consistent. So if this is you, if you're a manifesting generator, your invitation here is to love on and hold space for your nonlinear path. And to ask where you're finishing things out of obligation that your design has already moved beyond. And if you're really interested in learning what your human design type is, I'm going to have a link in the show notes. So if you're like, man, I don't know what I am, I'll have that link for you. And it's a free test. I think you do have to sign up with your email. It's not sponsored by me, but it does give you a really good overview of what your human design is. So those are the two most populous types of human design. So next we have the projector, and I work with a lot of projectors. Projectors are designed to guide. Projectors are not here to do the things, but more to be. So our projectors direct, they see deeply, they can guide systems and people. They have concentrated, focused energy that is not meant to sustain our typical capitalistic 8-hour hustle cycles. Okay. So for projectors, energetic containers are super, super handy because it's really aligning with those times that your energy is at its highest, right? So projectors, your leadership superpower is the ability to see things that others can't. So if you have a projector in the room and you invite them to share their wisdom, it really can have a powerful impact on the people there. Now, the shadow side of the projector is someone who never waits for invitation and who pushes and promotes and performs kind of in a way to earn the right to be heard. This projector type is going to burn out faster than any other type when she goes into a room or when she tries to push an agenda, even if it has all the best intentions. And her bitterness that comes up because when projectors are not invited to share their wisdom, when they are not brought into a space, an invitation can look a lot of different ways. This is something that we're going to go through in the she disruption coming up in May. But when that invitation is not there, projectors can feel really wounded and can get kind of bitter about it. And can get resentful and be like, I gave to people without being asked and I was not received. And that can really wear on your psyche. So if you're a projector, I invite you to be on the lookout for that. Like, where are you pushing to be seen instead of allowing yourself to be found? And being found takes on a lot of different ways. This is not a passive way to interact with the world. There's actually ways to set up like your content and how you work with people, the clients you connect with, all of that in such a way that you actually do get those invitations. So you don't have to just like wait around and do nothing. That's a big myth. Manifestors are about 9% of the population. They are designed to initiate. So manifestors are the only type that is here to actually start things. They don't respond. They're not the guide. They don't wait for invitation. They actually can create from impulse. They have, this sounds really weird, but they often have this closed, almost repelling aura that can read as intimidating, but really it's just them being super independent. They don't need to respond to what's going on around them to initiate things. So obviously their superpower is the ability to move without permission, to initiate things without waiting on anybody else. When a manifestor decides, things happen, and she doesn't need consensus to begin. Okay. And please don't misunderstand this. This is not the same thing as like manifestation or law of attraction or anything like that. That's separate. It just happens to be a similar wording. So the manifestor, however, who has been taught that her independence is too much and she's too bold, too fast, too much, learns to shrink from that initiating force. And when a manifestor is unable to initiate something and they start asking permission to do things, there's a lot of anger that comes up. That manifestor can feel very caged, very boxed in. Okay. So the invitation here is to just really consider, if you're a manifestor and this feels really familiar to you, where did you learn to ask permission? Where were you taught that you had to ask permission? And what are you not initiating because you're waiting for someone to say it's okay? Yes, I'm being super direct with you, manifestors. I love you. But if you're not out there initiating things, if you're not out there manifesting things, if you're not out there creating things from thin air, the rest of us are waiting. All right. So finally, the reflector is approximately 1% of the population. This is a very, very rare type. So if you're a reflector, you have a very interesting design type. You are designed to reflect and evaluate. Like I said, reflectors are the rarest type, and they are deeply sensitive mirrors of the environment. They are designed to sample and return the energy that's around them, much like a mirror. Okay. And they have no consistent defined energy centers. So that gets in kind of the nitty gritty of human design. And we're not going to do that today. But the leadership superpower for a reflector is unparalleled wisdom about the health of the community, a team, or an organization. A reflector who trusts their perceptions is the most accurate barometer in any room. If you have a reflector on your team, a reflector as a consultant, a reflector in your family, listen to them. The shadow for the reflector is that a reflector who's absorbed everyone else's energy as her own has no idea who she actually is or what she actually feels. You've been told that you're inconsistent, oftentimes, if you're a reflector and dealing in that shadow, right? And really, you're actually extraordinary. You just need time to process things. So the invitation here to lead yourself is to ask, whose energy are you carrying that isn't yours? And what environment are you in that's shaping you in ways that you haven't consciously chosen? Okay. So what does this mean for how you lead? You don't need to label yourself as a human design type and be like, oh, this is just what I'm doing here. This is just who I am, right? For instance, a generator told that her gut response isn't professional enough. That's that outside in leadership bullshit. That when you are leading from the inside out, you know your gut response is actually super professional and it's super intuitive, and that we're human beings first. Okay. Oftentimes, a projector is told that they need to be more proactive. That's not how a projector works. A projector instead needs to start from within, like all types do, and start looking at ways in which they are invited in the environment they're in to step in and be the person with the solution. A manifestor hates to see a group project coming. And manifestors who are told they need to collaborate more before deciding will never thrive in that kind of environment. Okay. And you don't have to be in management to be a manifestor that is, operating within their human design, right? You just need to be on a team or running a business or whatever, doing something where you are not being micromanaged and you feel like you can really make good decisions, move forward, create something new, and go on with your life. Manny Gens are often told to pick a lane, to niche down. I'm not the biggest fan of niching down, even for business owners, right? I always like to look at niche in terms of the people you serve versus like what you offer, all of that. And it's not so much like, oh, I serve, busy moms aged 36 to 52, who are juggling work and life and kids and all those things. Like for me, I like to say, okay, yes, all your clients can fit that demographic, but what are her values? What does she care about? Right. And so you see that your niche is actually wider than you think it is. Well, a Manny Jen doesn't really need to pick a lane a lot of times, and might be keeping herself closed off if she does. And a reflector is often told to be more consistent. And that's not how reflectors operate. And every single one of these shoulds, you should do this, you need to do that, is a reflection actually of the very masculine leadership template that we operate in, overriding our individual design, right? If you don't know your human design type yet, this was just a quick overview and kind of how it relates to leadership. Like I said, I'm going to link to a free chart resource in the show notes. Takes just a couple of minutes. You're going to need your birth date, birth time, and location, just like you would for an astrology chart. So pull your chart, find your type, and then come back and listen to this episode with fresh ears. Also, comment under the episode or on social media and let me know what your type is. I really want to know. And keep me in the loop on what you discover. Also, like I mentioned, this She Disruption program is coming up. And this is exactly the kind of inside out work that we are doing together. If you want to, head over to my website, meganwinkler.com. I'll have the full link to the program in the show notes. You can hop on the wait list. It's not officially open yet, but the wait list people are going to be able to get first access to the limited number of seats and a little extra gift as well. So come hang out with me there. Make sure that we are connected on Instagram at It's Megan Winkler. I'm also on LinkedIn, and feel free to hop into my Patreon community. It is free to join if you would like. All you got to do is put your email address in there for Patreon. And then the paid tiers start at $3 a month. And I just actually this week posted a form for all my members, free or paid, to submit some Ask Me Anything questions for the pod. So I look forward to those responses. And my plan is to weave those into the discussion topics I already have planned and answer some of your questions. I just love an interactive aspect in a podcast. So I hope you'll take me up on that offer. That link is also in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know what your design type is. Let me know what you learned here. And let me know what questions you have about human design. And maybe I can answer those on the air as well. Take care of yourself out there, my friends. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and as always, stay magical. I'll see you next week.